Here is another cool video of a blockbuster MMA action film, Roadhouse. If you're watching this video, please give us a thumbs up, drop a comment and let us know your thoughts on the film, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification. Let's proceed. 1. Most feared underground combat fighter. In Glass Key, Florida, Frankie owns and operates a roadhouse known as the Roadhouse. She's been working with the wrong clientele lately. When Frankie goes to an underground combat match, he looks for boxer Carter Ford, but instead he encounters Elwood Dalton, who even Carter Ford is scared to spar with. Dalton was a well-known MMA fighter and one of the most infamous in the industry. The other fighter gave up before they ever entered the ring.
There's no fucking way. Yeah, fuck you. Fucking way. You know what the fuck he is?
Where you going?
You sure you thought this all the way through? And where you going? Yeah, good. Shit.
2. Dalton fight 5 thugs and get hired for a bouncer job. When Frankie caught sight of Dalton during a brawl, she understood the type of reputation the man had. When Frankie realized Dalton had discovered a means of making easy money, he very shrewdly used his reputation to his advantage and made sure he didn't have to put in much work. Frankie approached Dalton and offered him a substantial sum of money if he came to her roadhouse and protected her from the daily thugs who created a lot of trouble. 3. Dalton emotionally damaged trying to make ends meet. Dalton knew in his heart that he needed that money, even if he had no interest in accepting her offer. He understood that soon he would need to pursue another line of employment in order to support himself because such battles didn't pay him enough to live comfortably.
Sir Elwood Dalton.
He's a fucking joke!
4. Dalton escapes unhurt when train hits his car. Sitting in his car after it was struck by a train, Dalton had a sort of enlightenment. After escaping the collision, Dalton made the decision to visit the Roadhouse in Glass Key, Florida. When Frankie spotted him at her club, she was overjoyed.
Parts of Havana, Cuba, and the...
Black coffee?
5. Dalton first bar brawl and fight scene with Del. Dalton gave Del a lesson that very first day. Del thought he was unstoppable and that destroying the Roadhouse's property and scaring the employees was his destiny. Del attacked Dalton in a haughty manner, thinking he would easily defeat him because he had no idea who he was up against. He was beaten like a punching bag by Dalton, who then tossed him out of the club.
And since I walked in, I got some work to do.
Yeah, mine's a red one on the right.
6. Dalton makes new friends. Dalton eventually agrees to the offer and goes to Glass Key. There, Dalton becomes friends with Charlie and her father Stephen, who own a neighboring bookstore, before making his way to the Roadhouse.
You know that crap.
Charlie, leave this poor man. I'm on a budget.
No.
He. Hey, Steve.
7. Dalton meets Ellie. He first meets Ellie at the hospital, and they eventually become close. While working at Glass Key, Dalton establishes a good connection with every employee at the Roadhouse, falls in love with Ellie, and meets her father, a police officer employed by Ben.
It's not infected, but I'll need to. It's an antibiotic.
8. Dalton and Ellie love story. Ellie told Dalton exactly how she felt since she was an honest person. Dalton, though, was probably not a proud guy of who he was. He was aware that he would never be able to erase his troubled background. He informed Ellie that he was not the sort of man she would want to live a lifetime with since he was aware of his responsibility for his friend's death. Ellie's father worked for Ben as the local sheriff. Ellie's father would have shot Dalton or set him up for a crime, according to the sheriff, who placed him under arrest.
That's right there's a back.
House, it's just not deep enough. This is kind of sounding more like.
9. Dalton haunted by his past MMA fights. Before Knox can go and knock Dalton out, Ben attempts to talk sweetly with Dalton, who is reminded of his last MMA fight by Ben. Dalton was plagued by the event in which he murdered a man in a professional mixed martial arts match. Dalton didn't know what went wrong within the man during the match that led to his inflicting such devastating injuries, even if he was his buddy. Despite the fact that Dalton had already vanquished him, he continued to pound him until he passed out. 10. Dalton decides to stay in Glass Key and face the local mafia. Dalton had decided he would not be staying at Glass Key. Dalton felt a bit duped by Frankie, who had not informed him all about the ongoing problem.
I'm gonna just shoot you.
Can I ask a question?
I'm just gonna go right back.
Fuck you!
He confided in Frankie that he was afraid of coming to a place where he would act in a way similar to his previous actions. Just as Dalton was ready to walk away, something happened that made him reconsider and made him feel compelled to correct Ben and the
Hold that
others.
gun. You don't have a gun too, do you? The good news is there's a hospital.
Huge problem, and it's something I'm gonna work. What do you mean? Territorial. Who knows why these assholes?
They took my gun.
I'm not amused. Put that fucking down. You're here laughing as everything I've been trying. Yes.
It's Gerald Brent.
Where he hides the spare key. Come on.
Do they teach that?
Families, they built most of Glass Key. Asking simple questions.
You're a nice person. That's you and your friends.
What?
Like get medical.
Yeah.
Is there a hospital nearby? Hey, what's your name?
What?
Let's call this a draw.
It's a tie, Dale.
Fuck. God, I don't think I can ride like this. Fuck.
What now, bitch?
We better. You can never do this. You know, I think I'm getting pretty good at. Hey, you're Reef, right?
Oh, Habby. He's about. Always at the knees.
Oh! Oh!
Again.